Welcome to Timelines Unravelled, where the past is more than just pages in a book, it's a living, breathing story. Imagine inheriting a throne surrounded by enemies. Your mother, Anne Boleyn, was executed by your father. Your sister once locked you in the Tower of London. Your country is broke, divided, and teetering on the edge of war. Now imagine turning all that into one of the most legendary reigns in history. This is the story of Queen Elizabeth I, the last Tudor monarch. A woman who ruled alone in a world built for kings. A queen who became a symbol of resilience, power, and England itself. Her journey begins in 1558, when she is crowned at the age of 25. England is reeling. The previous queen, Mary I, Elizabeth's half-sister, had tried to drag the country back into Catholicism with brutal executions. Hundreds were burned at the stake. The people are divided. Trust in the monarchy is shattered. Elizabeth is young, clever, and cautious. She knows she must tread carefully. So, she charts a middle course. She re-establishes the Church of England, but allows just enough room for compromise to avoid another civil war. She becomes the Supreme Governor of the Church, a title carefully chosen to keep both Protestants and moderate Catholics from rebelling. But religion is just one part of the storm. Elizabeth faces constant pressure to marry. Her advisors worry about the future. Without a husband, there's no heir, no alliance, no safety net. But Elizabeth refuses to be controlled. She flirts with suitors, foreign princes, powerful nobles, using marriage as a diplomatic tool. But she never commits. Her heart, it seems, belongs to her country. And over time, she becomes known as the Virgin Queen, a monarch who rules not as someone's wife, but in her own right. And then comes the most dangerous rival of all. Mary, Queen of Scots. Mary has royal blood and a legitimate claim to the English throne. She's Catholic, charismatic, and backed by powerful allies. When she's forced to flee Scotland, Elizabeth allows her to live in England, under constant surveillance. For nearly 2 decades, Mary is held in custody, her presence a powder keg that could ignite rebellion. And in 1586, it does. A plot to assassinate Elizabeth and put Mary on the throne is uncovered. Mary is implicated. Elizabeth agonizes over the decision. She knows executing a fellow queen is dangerous, morally and politically. But in 1587, with pressure mounting, she signs the death warrant. Mary is beheaded. The message is clear. This queen will not be overthrown. The execution outrages Spain, the most powerful Catholic empire in the world. A year later, in 1588, the Spanish king, Philip II, launches the Spanish Armada, a fleet of over 130 warships sent to invade England, dethrone Elizabeth, and restore Catholic rule. It is one of the greatest threats England has ever faced. Elizabeth addresses her troops at Tilbury in full armor, a queen-turned-warrior. She tells them, "I may have the body of a weak and feeble woman, but I have the heart and stomach of a king, and of a king of England, too." The Armada never succeeds. English ships are faster, better armed, and aided by fierce winds that scatter the Spanish fleet. It is a crushing defeat for Spain, and a defining victory for Elizabeth. From that moment, her legend is sealed. But Elizabeth's reign wasn't just about war and survival. It was a golden age of culture, science, and exploration. The Elizabethan court became a hub of creativity. Playwrights like William Shakespeare, Christopher Marlowe, and Ben Jonson redefined English theatre. Their works weren't just entertainment, they were political, poetic, and revolutionary. Shakespeare's plays, in particular, reflected the questions of power, loyalty, and identity that defined Elizabeth's England. Meanwhile, the spirit of adventure swept through the nation. Sailors like Francis Drake, John Hawkins, and Walter Raleigh circled the globe, raided Spanish ships, and laid the foundations for England's future empire. Drake became the first Englishman to circumnavigate the globe, and was knighted by Elizabeth herself. Back home, fashion, language, and science flourished. The Queen's image, pale skin, red hair, elaborate dresses, became iconic. Portraits were carefully crafted to show her as ageless, divine, and untouchable. She became both a ruler and a myth. But life behind the image was lonely. Elizabeth never married, she trusted few, and as she aged, the court grew anxious. There was no heir, no clear successor, political tension simmered, factions formed. By the late 1590s, her health declined. Friends and advisors died. She spent long periods in solitude. And yet, even in her final years, she remained committed to her people. In 1603, Elizabeth I died at the age of 69. She had ruled for 44 years, longer than any monarch before her. She left behind a nation forever changed. England emerged from her reign more united, more confident, and ready to compete on the world stage. She had preserved the Protestant faith, defeated the greatest naval power in Europe, and laid the groundwork for the British Empire. Her successor, James VI of Scotland, united the crowns of England and Scotland. But he could never replace her. Elizabeth's legacy lives on, not just in history books, but in the identity of a nation. She ruled with intelligence, flair, and determination. In a world that tried to define her by gender, marriage, or bloodline, she defined herself. She didn't just survive as queen. She became a symbol of England itself. Thanks for watching Timelines Unravelled. If you enjoyed this journey into the life of one of history's most iconic monarchs, like the video, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. We've got more epic tales from the past coming soon, and trust us, you won't want to miss them.